Now I'll show you a few different ways you can charge the unit and how I use the Omni 20 Plus to recharge a lot of the technology I take with me out in the field on a regular basis. Now the first thing you'll want to do when the unit arrives is condition the batteries. And it's explained in the manual, but it's a really simple process. You'll essentially connect it up to a few of the devices that you want to recharge and drain the batteries down to the point where the front display actually blinks out. Now, I know that's going to seem scary because you won't even be able to turn the unit on, and it isn't dead at that point, it's hibernating, which means there's enough current in those batteries that the minute you connect it to a charger, it's going to spring back to life and you can fully charge it. But it's important you do that because there's a controller inside this unit that's keeping track of everything that happens on with the unit. It's going to actually keep track of the charges, if you've had short circuits, if there have been any error conditions that came up. So it's building a scorecard based on your experience with the product over time. And if you don't reset it every so often by deep discharging those batteries and then fully charging them, it really doesn't have a good handle on how those batteries are doing. So when you deep discharge it and recharge it, you're resetting all those counters, and you're also letting the controller know how much capacity the batteries have currently, because the chemistry of the batteries can change over time, and by fully charging those batteries, the controller can keep track of how that charge is being taken and really improve the efficiency of the unit overall. So make sure you do that probably a couple times a year and you'll be in good shape. All right, to charge the unit, the simplest way to do it is to use a standard wall charger like this. Now this is a heavy duty 65 watter, and it's got both a QC connection through the USB-A and a PD connection through the USB-C. You want to make sure you use a heavy duty charger and it'll charge it a lot quicker. So with this kind of charger, 65 watter, that's a PD charger, I can recharge this in about 3 hours. Now you can use a smaller charger, but you're dealing with a math problem here where the smaller charger can't generate enough electrons or as many electrons. It takes a lot longer to fill this guy up. Think of this as a big glass here that you're filling up with water. If you've got a small charger, you're dribbling the water in, whereas a charger like this, it's like a fire hose. So the bigger charger is always better. And again, you can charge it with anything, but get a big charger. Now, if you have a laptop that has a USB-C charger on it, you can use that as well. Most laptop chargers are 65 watts or even higher. This will handle a full 60 watt charge. The other cool thing is that this port on the side that we're going to connect the charger up to is a PD charge port, which means the unit can fast charge external devices that are PD compatible, which is great, but it's also PD compatible on the way in, which means unlike a lot of these products that have a standard charge cycle, which could take 5 or 6 hours to charge, this one can fast charge external devices, and it can also be fast charged through that same port. So by using a charger like this, you're going to fire a ton of electrons at it, and you're going to fill that glass up really quickly. So you'll plug the charger in any wall outlet, and you can use the cables that came with the unit to connect them together. I've got a little longer one here just to make it easier, but I've got a USB-C to USB-C. I'll plug that into the charger, plug that into the side USB-C connection here. It takes a second for it to recognize that I'm charging it. It comes to life, and you can see the display light up. It lets you know what the current charge level is, and you can watch that fully charge. It'll actually move up and fully charge the battery. When it's done, it'll shut off. Now that's the easiest way to do it. You may be thinking already, Rick, what if I'm in my car? I mean, I'm not going to always charge it at home. I want to charge it in the car when I'm on the go. Well, you can certainly use a car charger, plug this into standard USB-A or USB-C in a car charger, and you're good to go there. The thing is, the car charger may only be a 15 watt, 25 watt, 40 watts. So again, the bigger the charge you can get for the car, the better. And that'll charge this. It may take a little longer than the home charger, but again, it's a math problem depending on how large the charger is and how many electrons it can fire at this unit to fully charge it. There is a faster way to do it though. I mentioned before that it's also got this 5521 universal port on the side. That's a bidirectional port, which means I can use it to charge devices externally, but I can also use it to charge the product. Now, you've got to get a cable. They don't come with the cable, but you can find them everywhere. Because it's a standard 5521 port, you can find a cable like this that's got the 5521 connector on this end and a standard car charger connector on this end. So plug it in here. I've got this power supply set up to simulate my car, but I'll plug this in just like your outlet in the car. The minute I do that, boom, it comes to life and I'm charging it. The cool thing is, that's a high performance connection, so it'll charge it a lot faster. It can handle, I think it's going to handle up to 60 watts of input current to charge this thing quickly. So I'm charging it from my car, I'm simulating that, but I'm charging it from my car and charging it that way. You can also use that for an output, and I'll show you that in a little bit. All right, so that's charging it. Once you've got it charged, that's where the magic starts. So you're out in the field, and you've got to charge a lot of different things. Now, normally I'm taking a tablet and my phone with me and a bunch of drone stuff, maybe my laptop. If I want to charge anything, I'll turn the unit on by holding this for a couple of seconds. It'll come on, you'll see the display set up, and we're all ready to go. Now, charging my phone is really easy. This is a wireless charge capabilities. I just lay it on top of the unit. The minute I do, boom, it comes on, and I'm charging my phone. And that's really handy if I'm out there flying a drone or I'm fishing or something. I can set it down, put my phone on top of it, not have to worry about having a cable with me. But what else do I want to charge with it? Well, I've got a tablet out here. So I've got a USB-A to USB-C cable right here. I can plug that into one of these ports on the front. Now there were two full-size USB-A ports on the front. Both of these are QC 3.0, which is a quick charge capability, which means I can fast charge external devices from both of those ports. Now here's an important difference. Most of these products will have a QC port and a regular port on the front, which means one will fast charge and the other one is a standard like 5 volts, 2.5 amps. So you've got a slow charge port. Both of these are QC compatible, and there are a controller inside can differentiate between the two of them. So I can connect two different devices up that need different charge levels, and it'll make the adjustments for them. So I'll connect up a USB-A port to that one, or cable to that one, and I'll charge my tablet. So the tablet's being charged. At the same time, I can still charge my phone on the top of it. So that's two devices at the same time. Well, I've got a bunch of other stuff with me. I've got an action camera. I want to charge that. So I've got another USB cable here. This is a USB-A cable. I'll plug that into the top. Put my phone back on there. So that's charging. That controller, I should say that tablet is charging. Now my camera's charging. So I've got three devices charging at the same time. Well, I've got a bunch of other stuff. I got to charge more stuff. So I've got a laptop over here. Let me try and charge that. So I'll use a USB-C cable here to the side of the unit, and I'll connect that up to my laptop. Now, again, this is different than most of these units because that PD port over there is not just PD, but it's a PD 60 watts. So it's got an incredible amount of power, which you need to charge a laptop. If you've got a smaller PD port that only puts out a little bit of current, it's never going to charge your laptop. By connecting that up, my laptop is charging. Now, again, I'm charging a tablet, a camera, my phone, and the laptop at the same time. And you're thinking, well, that's enough already, Rick. Stop where you're at. Hold on, I've got more. So if I hit the button on the top, that turns on the AC portion of this. Let's say I brought a lamp out. I don't know why I'd bring a lamp out in the field, but let's say I brought a lamp along with me in the field. Well, gee, I can plug that into the AC port on the other side. And what happens there? Holy smokes, the lamp came on. Okay, so the lamp's on. All of these guys are charging at the same time. Now, it gets a little more interesting beyond that. So if I'm out in the field and I've got a smart controller or I've got batteries for my drone I want to charge. Let me disconnect the lamp for a second. Actually, let me disconnect all this and start from scratch here. So I've got a lot of cables on the table. It's getting very confusing for me. All right, so that's the laptop. So let me disconnect that. All right, both of these are quick charge compatible devices. So the battery bank, let me connect that up. I'll connect that up to one port, and this is how I'm going to show you that it'll quick charge two devices at the same time. So this is going to start strobing, and it's strobing fast. And if you fly this kind of drone, you know for a fact that when it's strobing like that, it's quick charging those batteries. So I can charge three batteries at the same time for my drone. It'll charge one, it'll move on to the next one, move on to the next one. Well, my smart controller needs to be charged as well. So let me plug that in. Now, normally, if I connect two cables up to the same battery bank or portable power station, only one of those is going to quick charge. But if you look closely, you'll see this is still strobing fast and this is strobing fast, which is showing you both of these are quick charging at the same time at different levels, because I guarantee you the current and voltage this needed was different than the current and voltage that needed, but the controller's smart enough to differentiate between the two. It'll handshake with both devices and deliver the right amount of current and voltage for this one and different one for that one to safely and quickly charge those. So that's pretty brilliant. Oh, and the same time, what did I do with it? Here it is. Same time I can charge my phone. So I've got two devices being charged at the same time. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what else can I do? Gee, that would be great if I could charge something off that port on the side. Well, I've mentioned before that this universal port is bidirectional. And what I mean by that is I can charge the unit through it using a standard cable like I showed you a second ago, but I can also use another type of connector, this one, which is an output connector that has a 5521 connector here and a standard car connector here. Now, the only thing you have to be aware of is that this is normally an input, and if you want to use it as an output, you have to go into the menu. So you'll double tap this button, which brings up the menu. The first menu item is the output voltage. Click that. Select the voltage you want. I'll take 12 volts, thank you. And you want to make sure it's an output. Yes, it's an output. Now that port's active. So when I plug this in, I can actually use, I don't know, a car charger. Let's say I've got those mini batteries with me and I don't have the hub with me. I can plug a car charger into it. Boom, it comes on. I can take one of these batteries and I can connect it up to the car charger, and I can actually charge the battery in my car. So that's pretty cool, right? Now that battery's charging, everything's good. Now it's red because the battery's charging. Once the battery's fully charged, it'll turn green and we're good to go. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is if you've got the main charger with you. So the regular charger, by the way, you can use this for any 12-volt accessory you've got. So anything that plugs into your cigarette lighter can plug into this, as long as you pick up this cable. And again, these are really inexpensive cables. All right, so let's say, for example, you've got your Mavic Air battery with you. Well, geez, there's no way I can charge that with DC. What am I going to do there? Well, maybe I'm bringing my Mavic Air charger with me in the field, which I do on a regular basis. So let me plug that guy in. Well, this can't possibly work. There's no way this is going to work, Rick. Well, yeah, it will work. Watch this. So I'll plug that in the side, plug in the battery. It's going to take it a second for it to recognize. Do I have the AC on? Yeah, I have the AC on. It's going to take it a second to recognize that. But the minute it sees the charger, and again, it's a modified sine wave, but that's fine for this kind of charger. The minute it sees that charger, it's going to start charging the battery. So at the same time, this is blowing my mind. At the same time, I can have my controller fast charging. I can have those batteries in the hub fast charging. I'm going to blow this thing up if I keep connecting stuff. I can have that fast charging. I'm out of stuff to charge at this point. Oh, here's another battery. Let me throw that in there. So all of this stuff together is charging at the same time, which again is unbelievable, but it's a small unit. So it's got 20,000 milliampere hours. Remember, you're filling it up with electrons. Once it's full, it's like a wound spring, man. It wants to distribute those electrons through any port it's got available to it, so it can charge multiple devices at the same time. The reason I'm saying you have to keep an eye on it is because there's only so many electrons in there based on that 20,000 milliampere hours. So of course I'm going to use those pretty quickly charging all this stuff, but normally it's one or two things at a time. And I just love the fact that I can take one unit with me out in the field. It's got such versatility that I've got a ton of connections. The USB-A's on the front, USB-C on the side, the multi-port on the side, the AC on the other side, the wireless charging on the top. I mean, it does everything I could possibly want it to do outside of an arc welder or a giant cement mixer, something that's got a huge load. Of course, you can't run that on it, but everything short of that, this guy just does the job. And the best part, I think, overall is that it's that perfect balance, that Goldilocks zone between weight and capacity and use in the field. Whereas a lot of them are bigger. This is great. I love this product. It's way heavier, and I guarantee you when I take that out for a day of flying or a day of filming, I'm coming back with it 80% full. Why am I carrying all that weight with me when I can get by with something smaller like this? So I like this an awful lot. It's the Omni 20 Plus. I think the company's done a brilliant job in designing this product, and that's pretty much all I had for today. So I hope you've enjoyed this clip, and until next time, stay nerdy.